aware.
Do everything on Sunday online, it's possible to see, right, if somebody's online?
Yeah, yeah, it tells you right here.
Yeah, Brian mentioned there have been some issues with the streaming, that we can talk about later maybe.
Yeah, no, the link, for some reason, the link that it provides me is
But
taking.
now it's working, she's
Oh,
online now.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But,
All right, good.
I another thing, have you guys noticed when you've facilitated that there have been issues with the system or?
Well, I mean, it's broadcasting right now, but what the biggest issue is
All right, welcome to Organize Your Class with Tools from Google. My name is Fernando Gracia, and today we're going to go over different tools that Google Drive has for us to use in your classroom and be able to navigate these different tools and apply them to your teaching. The agenda for the workshop is I'm going to explain what Google Drive is, the interface and the access. We're also going to look at the different Google Drive file types from Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. We're also going to look at uploading, converting files to these Google Drive file types. We're going to create some folders. And we are also going to look at collaborating with your students through these folders and through these files. So just a quick explanation of what Google Drive is. Google Drive is basically a cloud-based drive that follows you around and you can connect to it from any computer, your phone, your desktop, your laptop, and you can upload pretty much any type of file, whether it's a Word document, a PDF, pictures, zip files, pretty much anything. And with a basic Google Drive account or Google account, you get 15 gigabytes of storage. And for all students at AU, they have unlimited space. Actually, they have around 5 terabytes, but no one really needs that much. But if you do have a Google account and you want to upgrade the amount of space that you have, you can purchase that. And I believe it's $2 a month for 100 gigabytes. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to access the drive from any just internet browser. And so I'm using Google Chrome. And the first thing that you want to do is, there are 2 ways to do it. When you go to google.com, there's this icon right here, and you can see that there's the drive icon, and you can click on that, or you can type in directly drive.google.com. And it takes you to the interface. And so here, I'm going to just talk about quickly about what you are seeing. First, anytime you want to get back to this page, you just hit the Drive button or My Drive. And up here, you can see how you're logged in. And this is my user. And over here, it gives you options to look at profile settings as well as privacy settings. And these are across the board for your entire Google account. And then once we upload some files, there'll be some information that comes up here. I've played with this drive already, so you can see pretty much everything that I've done in my drive. And then some more settings, just general settings about the layout, about Google Drive. You can download the drive to your desktop as an application. And this will allow you to sync all your documents with the cloud drive and on your desktop. And so it does it automatically. And I can show you how to do that later on. And then here with the help and the keyboard shortcuts, you can learn about the different shortcuts that exist within the drive to make things easier for you. Here again, you can see, you can download the desktop application. And down here, it shows you exactly how much space you have in your drive. And like I said, you can click on buy more storage and it'll take you to a page where it'll show you the different options that you have. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see my drive. You'll see this new button, which we'll play with today. And you can create a new folder, upload a file, upload a folder, and then create these 3 basic Google file types. But you can also, these are some other options, and you can click here for more applications that you can incorporate into your drive if you're looking for a more sophisticated Google Drive. And then whenever someone shares a file with you, you'll be able to access it here. And we'll get to that in a minute. And then your Google Photos, and then all the recent files that you've worked with, they'll show up here, and anything you starred, and your trash. So the first thing that also I want to show you the different layouts that you can have in Google Drive. So right now we're in an icon-based drive, but you can also click here and it'll show you a list view, and then you can organize it by when it was last modified. But if you like to look at the grid view, you can go back to that. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to upload some files, and these files can come from your desktop, from a pen drive. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit new, and I'm going to upload a file. And I am going to just go to Google Drive, and I'm going to select all these files and upload all of them, and just kind of show you the variety of files that can be uploaded to Google Drive. And so here Google Drive will show you the process as it's uploading the different file types. And as you can see, I can upload an Excel file, which is, as you know, it ends at .xls. I can upload well, this PDF already existed there, but I can download one as well. I can upload a Microsoft document file, and I can also upload a PowerPoint file. And so if I hit the list button, you can see the different files that I've uploaded, and it'll give you some information about those files. And so if I want to organize this a little bit more, I can create a folder. And so you want to title the folder. So for this folder, we'll title it Google Drive, and we'll create it. And the folder will just pop up here, and then I can select the different files I want to put into that folder. And I can either right-click and move to a specific folder, or I can just click and drag, and it'll automatically add it to that folder. So I'll go ahead and just add all these files to Google Drive. And another way that you can look at the different folders and subfolders is you see this arrow here. You can click on it, and you can access this specific folder just from this left-hand toolbar. And as you can see, it's got all of our files in here. And then something that you probably noticed is if you click here, it'll tell you how much storage you've already used. And a trick to pretty much upload files and not have them count towards your storage availability is to convert them to the Google comparable file type that exists. And so this is an Excel file, and so Google has Google Sheets, which is basically the same thing as an Excel file, but you can work on it through a browser, and it won't count against your space. And so you want to right-click, and you can do this two ways. You can right-click and open with Google Sheets, or you can just click on the file and scroll over these three dots and open it that way as well. And so if a file is able to be opened with a specific Google application, then it'll appear when you scroll over open with. And so we'll be able to open this Excel file with Google Sheets. And so depending on the size, that'll determine how long it takes for the file to convert to a Google Sheet. And so I just want to show you just how comparable it is. And so if we go back and we open this as an Excel file, you can see that we've got our different tabs. We've got our range of data and some pretty complicated data in here. And if we go back to our Drive, and we've already converted to a Google Sheet, the same tabs appear, and it's still uploading some of the data, so that's why it doesn't show up but here it is now, and it's copied exactly the way it is in Excel. And so we can go back to the Drive, and we can X out of this, and we don't have, every time that we X out a file or we change something, then so for example, if we wanted to, the first thing we would want to do is retitle this file, since it's no longer an Excel file, it's a Google Sheet, so we can just remove that XLS, and we can just X out of it, and Google Drive will automatically save whatever changes you make, so you don't have to go every time and hit File, or Save or anything like that. You can just X out of it, and here it is. And as you can see, it's a different icon from the Excel, and so that's how you'll be able to tell whether it's a Google-based file type or a Microsoft file. And depending on what you want to do with this file, you can delete it, because this file can be downloaded. Once you download it to your desktop, it'll download as a Microsoft file. So you can right-click and download, and it's converting to Excel. And then it'll download to your downloads folder in your hard drive. So that's a great thing about Google, that it's got these comparable applications between Microsoft and Google. And so you can upload whatever Microsoft file, and it'll open up as that. And so let's try to open just a Google Doc, for example. So we'd open with, see now this time it shows up as Google Docs instead of Google Sheets. And when we open it, it'll give us the same format and data. And apparently some of the images didn't show, but that's normally it does transfer the images as they were. But it's got the same toolbar up here as any Microsoft suite does. And so we can edit this, and then we can re-download it as a Microsoft document. And same thing with PowerPoint. So this is a PowerPoint, and we can open it with Google Slides, which is the comparable application on Google. And it's the same PowerPoint as Microsoft PowerPoint. Just this is called Google Slides. And so we've organized this specific folder, and now I've put together this data, and I want my students to use this data. And so what I can do is I would just right-click or just click on the file, and this icon up here that it's share, the share icon, you can click on it, and this is where it's important to know the differences between how you want to share this document and with whom. So you can enter email addresses, or if they're already in your contacts, you can type in a contact. So what I'll do is I will share this file with myself, which I have a student account, so you can see what the student will see once you share the specific file with your students. And then here you can decide what sort of capability you want the student to have with the specific files. So if you want the student to edit this file, or just comment on it, or just view and print it, for example, and they can select that here. But let's say I want this specific student to add more data to this file. So I will let the specific student edit it. And And then down here, some more advanced settings is you can make this specific file private, so the only people that have access to it are the people with whom you share the specific link. So right now, I am the owner, and the people that I'm inviting is this specific student. And then you can decide whether, when you send this specific invitation, you can copy an invitation for myself. It'll notify them via email, and then some owner settings. So let's say you are very protective of this file and you just don't want anyone to mess with it. So you can disable options to download, print, and copy, and so those are very pretty tight settings in terms of shareability. And so I'll go ahead and share this file with the student, and they should get a notification via email. So what I'll do is just hit done. And if you have two accounts, let's say you have a Google Work account and just a personal account, you can go back and forth between drives. And so you click on this avatar and you can add an account. And so I will add account so I can look at the file that was shared with me. But it will log me into the drive. So here I can go back and forth between drives. But just to go to my Gmail, I can just click this icon again and just go to mail. And so here you can see the email in the file that was shared with me. And this is what it will look like. And it'll tell me what I am allowed to do with this file. So it'll say edit. So I can open in Sheets, which is the application which is comparable to Microsoft Excel. So when I open it, so now you see that I opened it with this account. So this is how it'll open. It'll show the name of the account with which I opened it. And now I can edit it. And so I can go in and just add some more data. And it's a long list of data, but yes, you can just go in and let's say, it's got a bunch of, but we can, let's say we wanted to add our names, student A and B. And here you will see that you can switch accounts and see that this other person is logged in at the same time that I'm viewing this file and making some changes. So now what I want to do is I can X out of this file, and now that you see what it'll look like. And something else that you can do when a file is shared with you is we'll do a Microsoft Documents file now. So we'll go back to our drive, and we'll share this specific Google Docs with the student. So it'll open it, and so here, when you're in the document itself, you can also hit the share button, and we can share it with this specific file with him again. And so they will get another email with the ability to edit this document. So you can open in Google Docs, and let's say we were to change that. And as you can see, that specific change when I'm logged in is with this profile, you can see that this other profile was making the change and made the change. And you can track all these changes by just clicking on all changes saved in Drive. So if you click here, you can look at the different changes that have been made. So you can see that the drive was deleted at this specific time and by whom. And if you want more detailed revisions, you can usually click there if more than one change was made. So let's say instead of editing, I want to make a suggestion. So in the editing capacity that was provided, I have the ability to edit and suggest and view the file. So let's say I don't want to make changes to the document because it doesn't belong to me. I'm just peer editing. So I can just hit suggest. And so here I can say, for example, let's see. So what I can do is I can say, so go to edit, suggest, and I can say, move this section up, and it'll show up here. And then the person that shared the file will be able to see this specific suggestion. And then here I can decide whether I'm going to discard it or I'll keep this specific change. So I can just X out of it and it'll delete that change that was suggested. And so that's the great thing about Google, that you can be in the same document with as many other editors or commenters or people just viewing the file at the same time. So we will go back to the drive. And you can share an entire folder, for example. So let's say you put a folder together full of readings that you want your class to do. So you can select the folder and share this entire folder with your contacts. And something else is there's this little icon here that you can get the shareable link. And so what this link will do is it'll give you a link that you can copy and put in on Blackboard or put on the website. And so that's a great thing about Google as well, is that you can take this link and put it in different formats. So you can share an entire folder. And so something else that I wanted to show you is just the ability to be able to make changes to these specific documents that I've shared with people. So for example, I don't want my students to be able to edit this specific document. And so I can go up here to share, and I can go to advanced, and then I can change who can view or who has access to a specific document. So for example, one of the things that a colleague of mine does is he will share a blank document with his class before they get to class the day before, for example. And then during class, it'll be kind of the whiteboard for the class. So he'll ask a question or someone will make a comment, and depending on whether that comment is worth putting up on the whiteboard, a student can just log into the document and make the comment. And then when that student makes a change, you can discuss whether that's what the class wants up there in the notes, or if everyone agrees on it, if the professor agrees on it. And then afterwards, let's say I go back a couple of days later and I review the comments that were made by the students and the class note, and I approve them. And so I don't want anyone else to be able to make changes to the specific document. So I've shared it with everyone, the changes have been made, and I just wanted for my students to be able to view it and download it and print it. And so I've given permission, and now I want to change those settings. And so you can hit advanced, and then anyone with this link can view this item, and I think that'll be okay. And then I could have all of my students just listed here, and I can change their settings and their how much access they have to it. And so I can just switch it to can view, and this way they can't make any edits no longer to the document. So that's one way of changing the settings, and it'll automatically, whatever link that was shared, it'll automatically update that link. So something else that I wanted to show you was the ability to create an Excel file. So for example, I wanted to create a just completely blank file, and I wanted to share this file because this is how I'm going to schedule office hours with my students. And so what I will do is, I would go to my Drive and I would just create a Google Sheet, for example. And like I said, this just acts like any other Google or Microsoft Excel file. Or if you wanted to create the Excel file off the Drive and then upload it and convert it to a Google Sheet file, that's fine too. But you can share the specific, let's say you put in, the name of the student, and then date and time, and then any notes. And then you can share this entire document for students just to plug in the time of availability, or just, you list your times and then students just plug their names in. And then you can have, schedule your office hours that way. But also, with Google, since it's Google and you forget about, let's say you can't remember where you put that specific Excel file. And we'll just title it, let's say, just office schedule. And the search bar up here, you can search your entire Drive, and you have so many files and you can't remember where you put it, or you just can't find it. And then let's say you just remember that it could be the schedule. So you type in schedule, and there it is, and it usually populates with the most recent file that you've edited. And then also this little arrow will give you some more search options. So whether it's all file types or documents, spreadsheets, and it's owned by anyone. And something else that I wanted to show you is when a specific folder or file is shared with you, you don't have to go back to your email every time to locate that link, because whenever one of those things is shared with you, you can just click on shared with me and see everything that has been shared with you, for example. And then you can just decide how you want to organize these, and you can decide to download them and add them to your specific folders. But that's another thing about Google, that everything is right here. And something else that I wanted to show you is you can access your Google Calendar, for example, just from this icon right here, and host, let's say, office hours, for example, by adding it to your calendar. So let's say I'm meeting with a student, and let's say meeting with student A from 5 to 6. And then here you would, if you wanted to host these office hours virtually through a conference call through Google Hangouts, you would click add video call. And then you would add guests. So that whoever the student is, you would add their name here. And it's guest added. So you see exactly how many people are showing up to this video call. And then you can save it. And then it'll ask if you want to send an invitation, and you probably should. And they should automatically get an invitation to this. And once it's time, you can just hit the student would hit join video call, and they would wait for you to start the Hangout or your office hours, for example. And let's say for some reason you just had to quickly cancel this meeting, you would hit delete, and then you can let your guest or your student know that you are deleting this specific event. And so you can delete and update guests, and the student would get an email about the canceled event. And so it's just an easy way to add meetings to your Google Calendar. As far as downloading the desktop app to your the Google Drive desktop app to your computer, for example, like I said, you can go to download Drive, and this will bring you to this page that you can download this directly to your desktop. And any time that you add a new file, either to the drive through the browser or to the folder on your desktop, it'll automatically sync with the entire drive. So the web-based, cloud-based drive. And something else about Google Drive is that, like I said, you can buy more storage, and the students have pretty much unlimited storage. And something, like I said, the students, so the way that we're transmitting this workshop today is through Google Hangouts on Air. Unfortunately, the students, this would be a great tool to use if you were just hosting a workshop in general, or you're hosting your class. Unfortunately, the students do not have access to, or through their AU Google accounts, don't have access to Google Plus, which is a requirement to be able to join and participate in one of these Google Hangout on Airs. But like I said, the small private Google Hangouts for your office hours, you can do that directly through, like I showed you in the calendar. And so those are available. And if there are any comments or questions, and if you can access the chat room at all to ask a question, or you can always just email us at CTRL or give us a phone call if you have any questions to schedule a one-on-one, if you have any issues that or comments about the workshop or the workshop in general, please stop by Hearst. And with that, I am logging off.